Okay, if everybody can make their way to their seats, and please keep the center aisle clear. Thank you.
Congratulations to the class of 2018. Good evening, Dr. O'Reilly, members of the Board of Education, members of the Board of Selectmen, Ms. Lawson, faculty, staff, class of 2018, family, and friends. My name is Bridget Reddington, president of the PHS Student Senate, and I will be your master of ceremonies for this evening. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2018 on this memorable night. First off, I would like to take a moment for us to recognize and thank our teachers, community, friends, and family for their endless support and guidance throughout these 4 years. When I look up in the night sky, I see stars scattered throughout the darkness. Stars are not identical, nor do they shine the same. The class of 2018 consists of stars who shine as musicians, engineers, car gurus, artists, duck hunters, athletes, scholars, and so much more. We are individuals who are undeniably authentic and genuine as ourselves and are not embarrassed to show it. We are not necessarily stars a part of the same constellation, but still we were all members under the same sky. No matter where life takes us, remember to look up at the stars every once in a while as a reminder of people who made up the class of 2018. I now invite everyone to stand for the playing of our national anthem. At this time, I would like to welcome Kira Kovchek, President of the Class of 2018, to the podium.
I once heard a quote from Steve Jobs that said, "When you grow up, you tend to be told that the world is the way it is, and your role is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into the walls too much. Try to have a nice family life, have fun, and save a little money. But that's a very limited life." People say high school just fills the gap between our young, naive years and college. It is filled with pointless stress and unnecessary drama, and the only purpose of it is to prepare us for more school. Yet high school has taught us something very important: to not only take the knowledge that we have learned in class, but to take the experiences and lessons we have learned outside of these classes and to make a change in the world with them. Many of us have changed into completely different people since we first walked these halls as awkward freshmen. We have learned from each of our successes, as well as our many failures, and I can assure you that each and every one of us accepting our diploma here today is not the same person that walked into Portland High School 4 years ago. We have grown tremendously as students and have matured into adults. We are capable of doing anything we envision, but we must remember what we have learned from our past if we want to create the best possible future for ourselves. If you take anything from this speech, take these following reminders with you wherever your future may lead. Number 1, whether you want to be a future lawyer, doctor, engineer, journalist, or if Kukuchka's Yukon physics class has not deterred you from it already, a physicist, perseverance is what will guide you to reaching your goal. Remember that the worst moments will always bring out your best qualities and true strengths. Work through obstacles instead of avoiding them, because in college you can't get away with getting out of class to visit the nurse every day. Number 2, let things go. I assume a majority of people have heard the quote from The Lion King that says, "Oh yes, the past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it." It's just like looking back at our awkwardness from freshman year. We can either let those painful memories embarrass us, or laugh about all of the cringy boys we had crushes on, or the interesting memories we have from middle school dances and Holiday Hill field trips. Number 3, be accepting of others. You never know who you'll become friends with. We've all been together since Valley View and have been part of such a close-knit community. Although it's a blessing to have known everyone for so long, we haven't had the chance to meet many new people. Many of us are going to universities like UConn, NC State, and Penn State, where people attend from all over the world. Sometimes we look at people and think to ourselves that we can never become friends with them, but reaching out and introducing ourselves may start the beginning of one of our closest friendships throughout our lives. Number 4, some people are not meant to be in our lives forever, but only momentarily to teach us something about ourselves. People will come and go, but we cannot blame ourselves when relationships and friendships do not work out. We have to accept that while it will be more difficult to see our childhood friends, no matter how far we stray, we will remember the differences we made in each other's lives. Number 5, don't let others define who you are. You have to be you for yourself and no one else. Follow your own goals, wear what you want to wear, be friends with who you want to be friends with, join clubs that interest you, and listen to your own advice. Better yourself because it will make you happy, not because it will change others' perspectives of you. Number 6, don't be afraid to fail. Disappointment is guaranteed to strike us over and over again. Failure doesn't mean we aren't good enough, because if we weren't, we wouldn't be standing here today. I guess the most important thing we need to remember is that we are capable of so much more than we think. We are a group of future nurses and doctors, elementary school teachers, soldiers, political journalists, environmental scientists, engineers, and so much more. With everything going on in our world today, we are next in line to step up and create a change that will better our futures. Class of 2018, tonight is what we have been waiting for. Ever since we stepped foot into Portland High, we envisioned ourselves sitting right here, in front of our friends, our families, our mentors and teachers, dressed in our caps and gowns, about to begin the rest of our lives. Everyone warned us that high school would go by fast, but our stubborn freshman personalities still believed it would be the longest wait of our lives. All we talked about was getting out of here and moving far away from home, but we never considered how much we would miss seeing our friends in our classes every day, having our parents calling us out of school because we just didn't feel like showing up, or having others be responsible for most of our actions. From here on out, it is our decision whether or not we want to live a limited life or whether we decide to take some chances, bash into some walls, and live up to the potential we all have built up inside of us. My last piece of advice is whatever you do, if it comes from in here, you will never be led the wrong way. Congratulations, class of 2018. We made it. On behalf of the class of 2018, we would like to recognize and thank our class advisors, Mr. Nolte and Ms. Terry. You have been with us for the last 2 years, and we would not be here today without your support and guidance. Thank you both for helping us through our time at Portland High School. Ms. Terry is not with us tonight because she is at her own daughter's graduation, but Mr. Nolte, would you please come forward to accept this token of our appreciation?
Thank you, Kira. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, salutatorian of the class of 2018, Emily Bradshaw.
I never believed anyone who told me that these past 4 years would fly by. They seemed to drag on with endless assignments and stress, yet here we are. It seems like just yesterday we were entering the halls of PHS for the very first time. Although these past 13 years, for most of us, have been filled with classes that we may not have found interesting or assignments we thought were pointless, we have a unique set of memories shared among us. I'm sure most of us can remember the mini town in kindergarten, going through Darren's 6th grade, or the light bulb exploding in the cafeteria during lunch one day in 8th grade. I particularly remember that event vividly. Due to this unforeseen circumstance, all of the 8th graders went over to eat lunch in the high school cafeteria. That was the first time I had really stepped foot in the high school, and it made me both nervous and excited for what was to come. The high schoolers all seemed so tall, and I really thought I was going to get lost in the halls of PHS. Boy, was I overreacting. The halls of PHS are a giant square, and all of the classrooms are essentially in clusters by subject, so after the first few days, there's really no confusion. As graduating seniors, navigating the halls of PHS is easy and natural. We could probably do it in our sleep. Now, we're the big kids, the ones who seem big and scary to incoming freshmen. As I reflected on my 4 years here at PHS, I started to realize how much I have changed. Of course, we've all changed. But 4 years ago, I don't think anyone could have predicted that I'd be standing up at graduation giving a speech, especially not with this much confidence. I truly didn't know my own talents. For the first few years of high school, I was known as, "Hey, you're that girl that's pretty good at singing, right? You do the plays?" Yes, I'm that girl who's pretty good at singing. Yes, I do the plays. Actually, they're musicals, but that's not the point. As a senior, my entire reputation revolves around who I am as a musician, which I quite honestly don't mind because it's true. The music wing was where I spent a majority of my time here at PHS, especially while the musical was in progress from December to March. I show up at 7 o'clock each morning for a cappella, stay for chorus, return for AP Music Theory, and return once more after school for rehearsal. The music department became my second home over these past 4 years. It was where I felt like I belonged, where I was accepted for who I am. I am especially grateful to the PHS music department in that if I weren't a part of it, I would probably have no friends. Seriously, a great majority of my friends are involved in music in one way, shape, or form. The best part about our music department stems from the fact that PHS is such a small school. In other larger schools, the music kids are their own group, separate from the jocks or the popular kids. In Portland, however, the music program is full of kids who play sports and get involved in student government, and some even participate in both band and chorus. I became friends with people who wouldn't have even known my name if it weren't for music. I dragged so many jocks into auditioning for the school musical, which every single one ended up loving, just for the record. And from months of suffering, I experienced the bond that forms between the pit, cast, and crew of the school musicals, Hello, Dolly in particular. If it weren't for Mr. Tucker and Mrs. Novak being such strong role models, I would have easily lost my way and my mind with all the stresses of honors courses and life in general. Music is my outlet. Some play sports, some read, some take naps, but I sing. For me, there's just nothing like belting my heart out to release all of the tension from my body. The music department is also where I became a little bit more confident in who I am. I became a leader rather than a follower, and although I'm still fairly quiet, I found my voice in the music department. This is the girl everyone knows me as, the singer, the actress. So it really didn't come as a surprise that I had to explain to everyone who asked that, no, I'm not majoring in musical theater at UConn. I'm majoring in nursing. I chose to follow my other, lesser-known dream of pursuing a medical career. An added bonus is that in nursing, I get to wear scrubs and sneakers to work every day, and it's considered professional. All in all, I've learned more than just mathematical equations or how to write an essay over my 4 years here at PHS. I've learned that it's important to pursue what makes me happy, whether that be auditioning for Broadway or continuing my passion for theater through community programs. Class of 2018, as we all move on with our lives, I hope we all find something that gives us this sense of purpose, something that we could never live without, and we then use that passion to do great things. I am curious to see where we all end up outside the walls of this small school. Some of us will return and be townies, raising our kids in the same town in which we grew up, and some of us may move thousands of miles away, leaving the walls of this small school behind. No matter what happens, no matter where our journey leaves us, I know that we will all take memories of PHS, whether fond or not, with us. I will always remember the music department, how it helped me grow both as a musician and as a leader, and all the crazy memories my friends and I have made there. We, as a class, have made so many memories within the walls of PHS, and the time has come to move on with our lives, pursuing our passions and dreams. To quote Henry David Thoreau, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined." To the class of 2018, after all of these years spent together, it's finally time for us to step out into the real world, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, valedictorian of the class of 2018, Yong Lee.
I would like to talk to you about a 3-word phrase that I notice I use way too much. A phrase that I'm sure most, if not all of you, has used at some point in our lives. No, it's not "I love you," nor is it "I'll miss you." Hint, it's a phrase Mr. Veras would never use if I asked him the answer to a math question, unless, as I recently learned, I was able to time travel back 50 years ago and ask college Mr. Veras, what is the integral of sine squared of x? It's the phrase, "I don't know." I have used this phrase more often in the past year than I've ever did before. If someone was to ask me, "What major do you think you are going into?" Or "What do you want to do?" Or "What do you like to do?" More often than not, I would answer, "I don't know." When someone asked me this year, "What kind of job do you want in the future?" At first, I answered, "One that doesn't involve talking to people." But I don't think there is a job like that. So now my new answer is, I don't know. A week ago, someone asked me, "What is your graduation speech going to be about?" My answer, I don't know. Because at that point, I really didn't know. But here I am giving a graduation speech. So what can I talk about for 5 minutes? Well, let's start with things I don't know. Because there's a lot of them. Some are questions to weird answers, like why is the color blue called blue? Like, who decided that? Recently, maybe a month or so ago, someone asked me how I pronounce my name. If the G on my name was silent or not, my answer was I don't know. I think I pronounced my name with the G sound, but I could hardly notice the difference between a silent G and a not silent G. But more importantly, are questions about the future. What do I want to be? What majors do I want to choose? Even earlier this year, I, like many of my classmates, had to resolve the question, which college should we choose? In previous years, we had to answer, what should I do for my capstone project? Although this is our graduation, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm still clueless about my future. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what classes if the classes I signed up for during orientations are useful for whatever I decide to do in the future. I don't know if I will even enjoy being at college or not. There are so much I don't know about myself. Because of all my uncertainties, right now I am envious of those that have some sort of plans for the future because at least they know what they want to be. Talking about all these things I don't know make me feel clueless about life. So maybe I should talk about something more positive, like things I do know. Well, for one, while I may not know exactly how my name is pronounced, I know how to spell it. It's Y-A-N-G. Another thing that I do know, which is surprising about the future, is that I will be attending the University of Connecticut in the fall. I also know that through the grumbling about schoolwork and the assessments that I had to study for, I actually enjoyed high school. I was able to participate in so many different activities that I came into high school not expecting myself to participate in at all. I know that I enjoyed working backstage during the production of Mary Poppins my sophomore year. I also know I'm very proud of the girls' tennis team that when we got our first actual team win since the start of the team. I also know, after my 4 years of Portland High School, that old computers are dangerous because sometimes they catch on fire, like the one in Miss McCormick's room did my sophomore year. I also know the proper way to dump water on someone. Thank you, Mr. Kukuchka. I think that advice will probably only be used on my brother. I also know that I'm very lucky to have my friends. They motivated me to try harder, remind me about the assignments due or the assessments I had, and convinced me to participate in many activities which I would have been too shy to join by myself. There was also one friend that was kind enough to sing a song about the digestive system that my group had to create for Miss Rizzo's Anatomy and Physiology class because no one in the group wanted to sing it, and she wasn't even in the class. I also found out in my high school career that I really can't understand sarcasm unless it was spoken in a very sarcastic voice. Thank you, Mr. Stotler. From Miss Blodgett, I learned about polar graphs like the rose and the lima bean. Wait, no, it's the limason. I also know that I have missed more classes this year than my last 11 years added together. From lectures at Wesleyan to the countless number of APs I had to take, to college orientation and senior skip day, I have missed out on so many classes I know I do not have the capability to travel back in time and sit in again. Though I do not regret that right now, who knows about the future? For those who aspire to be engineers in the future, maybe could try inventing a time machine. I also know that many teachers are retiring this year, one of which is Mr. Veras. I had Mr. Veras for math for both my sophomore year and my senior year, but I have known Mr. Veras even before I had him for math class. 4 years ago, during my freshman orientation, Mr. Veras was assigned as my mentor. I know for a fact that for these past 2 years, I've dreaded these mentor periods. It wasn't that I didn't like Mr. Veras. It was just that every time I had mentor, it reminded me of the capstone project that I keep procrastinating on. Like many assignments this year, which I like to blame on a bad case of senioritis, which I'm sure many of my fellow seniors have also contracted this year. Thank God it didn't prevent me from finishing all the work I needed to accomplish. Mr. Veras was also the coach of the math league team, which was the first school club I participated in. Freshman year, he came into my geometry class and asked me if I wanted to join since they were down a member. At that time, I did not know that it would be something I would do until my senior year. I also know that Mr. Veras has a large collection of ties, a collection so large that a quilt was made out of it, and he still has many, many ties left over. And Mr. Veras, I'm sorry, but as the years went on, I did less and less of the practice packets that he gave me before the math league meets. Maybe I started my senior slide early, like sophomore year. But I swear I tried my hardest during the rounds. Sometimes the question I don't know how to answer seems to like me more than the questions I do know how to answer. Lastly, I know that all of us here today are alive. Hopefully, there are no ghosts among us. Therefore, we all have a future in front of us. Whether or not the future is great or not all depends on the choices and actions we as a person decide to take. So while graduation is the end to a part of our lives, there is still a long road ahead of us where we will be able to answer all the I don't knows. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang. At this time, I would like to introduce Emily DeSalvo, Secretary of the Class of 2018, the class officers, and our Senate members to share messages from our faculty.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce my fellow class officers to pay tribute to our class, the class of 2018. Rather than the six of us trying to agree on something poignant to say about our class, we turn to our teachers who have grown to know us so well over the past 4 years. Vice President Bridget Reddington, Treasurer Ford Lyman, Senate members Abby Dillon, Nick Violesi, and Alicia Archuleta, as well as myself, will be reading words of wisdom and reflection from each department at Portland High School for the class of 2018.
From the Science Department. From the solar cooker nightmare to chemistry raps, we feel the Science Department has adequately prepared the class of 2018 for the future. Best of luck next year, you'll need it.
From the Technology Education Department. Proud to be best, proud to be great. We're the class of 1+8.
From the English Department. There are so many things members of the English Department appreciate about the class of 2018. Number 1, your steadfast commitment to arriving to our classes on time. Number 2, your belief in the importance of bringing your own pencil. Number 3, your faith that our own personal Chromebook chargers can power each of your Chromebooks simultaneously. Number 4, your ability to focus all of your attention on your learning as opposed to your Snapchat story. Number 5, your daily energy, enthusiasm, and humor, which made teaching you an absolute pleasure.
From the Business Department, Benjamin Franklin once said, "Mind your pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves." I hope I have taught you how to do just that. Miss Terry.
From Mrs. Novak and the PHS Band, watching the members of the class of 2018 grow over these past 6 years, from anxious 7th graders to confident adults ready to take on the world, has been a remarkable journey filled with countless memories. Although you will go your separate ways and will continue to mature and change, remember that you will forever be a part of the PHS family. Congratulations to the class of 2018, especially my clarinet choir plus Nate. Stay in touch and visit often. Miss Mama Novak.
From the Guidance Department. Stay positive, work hard, and make it happen. We will miss the class of 2018.
From the Math Department. The Math Department thought long and hard about one word to describe the class of 2018. We decided it is impossible, like a limit that does not exist. So instead, we congratulate you and hope you will engage in the world with your eyes and hearts open and your cell phones off.
From the Library Media Center. This quote reminds us of your class. The PHS class of 2018 has become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. Jimmy Carter.
From the Social Studies Department. The Social Studies Department has many fond memories of the class of 2018. Your commitment to winning every Spirit Week and food drive, your consistent punctuality to class, and your dedication to only parking in the student parking lot. You are a talented group of students with many personal and group achievements, whether it was in soccer, golf, swimming, math league, robotics, or the arts, to name a few. Regardless of your successes or challenges, cherish your memories and remember where you came from. Do not be afraid to move on and live your best life. And remember that things don't always work out the way you expect them to, but they will always work out the way they're supposed to. Good luck.
From Mr. Tucker in the PHS chorus, the class of 2018 is the first class I have had all the way from 7th grade to 12th grade since I started teaching here in Portland. Since then, I have gotten to know the current senior members of chorus better than any class before. 6 years. Best of luck to my chorus family, and please don't be strangers.
And finally, from Miss Lawson, class of 2018, words will fail me as I try to express the pride I feel tonight as your principal. From the beginning of your sophomore year, you welcomed me to Portland High School. I have watched you grow into the amazing young adults you are tonight. It is important that each and every one of you know that other than my family at home, you are the most important people in the world to me, and I couldn't be prouder of all of you. I believe that if, as teachers, we do our jobs right, when you graduate, you won't need us anymore. But please know you will always have us in this wonderful community behind you. We will cheer your accomplishments, have your back in the hard times, and yes, give you a little push when you need it. Once a Highlander, always a Highlander. I would like to close with a final thank you to the faculty here at Portland High School for contributing to our speech. Your kind words are truly a testimony to your commitment to our class from the moment we first started here to this day, our final moments at Portland High School. We know we could not be standing here today without your help. Thank you.
At this time, I ask Ms. Catherine Lawson, principal of Portland High School, to come to the podium to present the class of 2018 for graduation.
I commend the class of 2018. You have truly persevered as thinkers, learners, creators, and problem solvers. As a result of all of your hard work, Dr. O'Reilly, Chairwoman Rode, and members of the Board of Education, I can attest that I have reviewed the transcripts for the seniors before you this evening. They have met all requirements for graduation from Portland High School, and I am proud to present them to you for the awarding of their diplomas. I would like to invite Mrs. Marianne Rode to the podium at this time.
I wore my heels so that I could reach the podium. Good evening. I always like to begin by thanking my fellow board members. They volunteer their time all year to do important work that helps make our district as strong as it is. And their reward is simply knowing that they're doing their part. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the staff in our district. The work they do is impressive and certainly worth our recognition. From our paraprofessionals who provide help and support to our teachers and students, to our nurses who not only care for our children when they're sick, but also attend to all of the needs of our medically fragile children on a daily basis. Our custodial staff who work tirelessly to maintain our facilities, and our secretarial staff who have the challenge of not only meeting the needs of students, but parents, teachers, administrators, the list goes on. And where would we be without our teachers and administrators? They step in each day and take over where we as parents and caregivers leave off. So thank you all for being there for our children when we are not. I want to switch gears and take a moment to speak about something that each of you can probably relate to in one way or another. Let's face it, it's a crazy world out there right now. We're very lucky because we're sitting here tonight knowing that these children made it. They all did what they needed to do to get through high school. For some, it was easier than others, but I would argue that for many, they face challenges on a daily, if not hourly basis that made it feel like this day would never come. That said, you made it, you did it, and you should be proud. Last summer, I had the amazing opportunity to go to New York with my son and see the musical Dear Evan Hansen. For those of you who are not familiar with this show, in a nutshell, it's about a teenager who struggles with depression and the message that he shares with his fellow classmates, sort of by accident. The song lyrics that I want to share are from a song in the musical called You Will Be Found. Have you ever felt like no one was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear, like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. Because when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, I know, and they will take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found. In some way, each and every one of you were found, because you're still here, still trying to make sense of this crazy world and all that is expected of you. Someone reached out. Someone came running. It may have been a parent, a friend, teacher, a sibling, but someone was there. So my challenge to you is to be that for someone. There will be a time in your future where you will come across someone who is lost and needs you to reach out. Because face it, we have all felt alone and forgotten, but something as simple as a smile or a hello can make all the difference. So go out and be the amazing people that we know you can. Congratulations, 2018 class. At this time, I'd like to invite Sharon Peters to join me to hand out diplomas.
At this time, we would like to invite Karen Reinhart forward to present her daughter with her diploma. Emily Ann DeSalvo. At this time, I would like to invite Emily DeSalvo, Senior Secretary, to the podium.
Ford Charles Lyman. Kira Nicole Kopchak. Nicholas Michael Francesco. Bridget Catherine Reddington. Nicholas Anthony Bialessi. Marilyn Burke. Johandi Lorenzo Diaz. Bettina Gabrielle Burke. Anthony Drew Zimmerman. Yang Lee. Anthony James Oresco. Molly Mackenzie Leary. Giovanni Pagan. Jessica Annie Black. Luke Michael DeToro. Shannon Marie Dolan. Ryan Patrick Murphy. Mariah Kate Morneau. Thomas Edward Eccles. At this time, I would like to invite Ford Lyman, Senior Class Treasurer, to the podium.
Allison Rose Tewksbury. Jake Armstrong Jerzak. Emily Ann Bradshaw. Kevin Scott Egan. Morgan Taylor Garris. Salvador Jefferson Hinostroza. Rachel Ann Briggs. Scott Miguel Timothy. Olivia Grace Velasco. Nicholas Samuel Faraci. Maya Elizabeth Lamalfa. Michael Anthony Oleos. Kisbel Diaz. Thomas Anthony Matarazzo. Shelby Lorraine Benoit. Jacob Adam Durkin. Samantha Joy Meisner. Michael Timothy Desso. Heidi Elizabeth Volk. Stephen Edward Vincelette. At this time, I would like to invite Kira Kopchak, Senior Class President, to the podium.
Leah Victoria Smith. Lucas Joseph Brown. Sarah Butler. John Patrick Lucas III. Molly Bennett. Nathan Scott Fecto. Sophia Teresa Martinuk. Jacob Charles Joseph Corley. Megan Alexandra Kelly. Daniel Thomas Gerard Maslick. Sophia Lynn. Nicholas Martin Randazzo. Charlotte Marie Carlson. J. Jim Bordenero. Alexis Marie Alimo. Liam James Coleman. Madison Kai Demaro. Deontay Julian Highsmith. Rachel Shaw Bernard. Dylan William Curtin. At this time, I would like to invite Bridget Reddington, Senior Class Vice President, to the podium.
Isabel Turner. Aaron Edward Fazzino. Amanda McKelvey. Niall Jonathan Keach. Ariane Lord. Alexander Michael Gondek. Aaliyah Elise Carta. Colby Stephen Townsend. Madison Haley Tomboli. Samantha Ryan Powers. Addie Marie Chudzik. Ava Wade Freilich. Morgan Christina Reinsch. At this time, we would like to invite Mrs. Kathleen Richards forward to present her granddaughter with her diploma. Alexis Lauren Field. Nicole Allison Damari. Allison Norton. Sarah Norton. Alicia Marie Archuleta. Abigail Maureen Dillon. At this time, I would like to ask all senior members of a cappella to join the choir for the singing of our alma mater.
To Portland High we say our last farewell, and turn our sights to what may lie ahead. The Highlander will always and forever be the emblem of our faithful black and red.
Would the new graduates please stand and join me for the turning of the tassel, signifying our new status as graduates of Portland High School. Graduates, on the count of 3, please turn your tassels. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2018!